and start developing artisanal to become small scale becoming large scale mining companies. And that is a process that we are currently undertaking. We hope that by the end or before the end of next year, we should be in a position to say it was a difficult journey, but it has been done, and we are moving correctly. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. We proceed. Honorable Mfarari, before we proceed, you can.
Chair, I thought we are done.
We proceed.
Oh.
We have one item, non-submission of production returns. Honorable Daka.
Chair, we have 9 companies that were cited for not having submitted returns. And Chair, I've noticed from the controlling officer's response that in fact 7 were exploration companies. It's only 2 companies that who are holders of the mining licenses who are supposed to submit returns. Now, the questions from the committee, controlling officer, as follows. The first question is controlling officer. In your submission, you have cited the 2 companies as non-compliant. Now, the committee would want to find out what kind of penalties you have instituted against these non-compliant companies. I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Mwela.
Chair, my question is based on the observation I have seen that in this submission, there are 2 findings which the auditors have stated what they saw and what they concluded, and the ministry is submitting to the contrary. The first we observed was about those exploring and mining without licenses, and the submission from the controlling officer was not even has been lost, those were paid, basically disputing the audit finding. Even in this case about production returns, the audit report is very clear that 9 mines did not submit monthly or yearly production returns. But the submission from the controlling officer is that in fact there are not 9 but 2, because these 7 were doing explorations. So the question is, how serious did the ministry take this audit? Because if these responses that are coming were given to the auditors when they were on site, we could not even be discussing them. How serious did the ministry take the audit process in order to address the findings rather than let them pass and bring them here to discuss only to get responses disputing the audit finding? I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mamba.
Thank you, Chairperson. On page 8 in the management response, the controlling officer has informed the committee that consequently the 2 companies have been defaulted and penalized in accordance with the Mines and Minerals Development Act. Would the controlling officer provide evidence of the penalization taken against the 2 defaulting mining companies? Thank you. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. PS, you can proceed.
Thank you very much. Chair, according to the Auditor General's report, they identified the names of companies that were found to be involved, to be subject of their inquiry. And when this information was provided, we checked through our records, which records they also had, and these companies, as they sit on the mining cadastre, they are exploration companies. So this particular part, unless there is any other information that we do not have, we see that there is probably an issue of harmonization. But these are issues where the Auditor General, we cannot compel the Auditor General to make a decision that this matter is dropped or it continues. There may be one aspect which they would want to validate. I think you say keep it under view, or keep in view, keep in view, so that eventually they actually validate the information that we have provided. So on paper, there appears to be a conflict, but in fact, there is no conflict at all. We are not saying the Auditor General cannot tell a lie. They have found out this. And from our side, we are saying we take note of it, and it is kept in view for them to validate at a later stage. So that is the guidance that we have received. There is a question around defaulting. And I think there was a question of what does penalization mean? I think that was a question from Honorable Daka. Is that correct? When you go to war, you use the weapons that you have at your disposal. Our weapons as a ministry are provided for under the Mines and Minerals Development Act. And action number 1, charge the companies for failure to comply. Action number 2, default. And default is a phrase just to indicate that we have started the process of cancellation. But the first stage is you default and let them show cause why they cannot be deleted from the register or cancelled altogether. So that is the tool that we have in front of us, and that is the extent which we can go. Beyond that, we don't have jurisdiction. There is a possibility that what I've said may not be fully comprehensive, but my colleagues from Cadastre, I think there's a question, evidence, that indeed penalization has taken place. I think there is appendix number 6, except that sometimes the prints are too small. But that is the evidence we have, and the companies in question, they are captured under the announcement of our desire to have them penalized. I submit, Chair. Unless there's something, Director Mines.
Honorable Ferrari, then Honorable Mwamba.
My question was withheld earlier on. I was mostly ignoring, but I was concerned as the controlling officer was answering. And by the way, Chair, congratulations and happy birthday to you. We have a chairman who's just achieved a milestone, Chair. And also congratulations to our lady seated from the Auditor General, Madam, or Dr. Grace. She has just graduated with a PhD for your information committee. So we celebrate with her as well. Yeah, so we have 2 things that are going on here, great things. So I think a bottle of whatever would do, of water. My question was based on, I got concerned when the controlling officer said they have to, a committee sits for each mineral. I got a bit concerned that there is a committee that sits per mineral. What do you mean when you are saying per mineral? If you are doing literally sitting for each mineral, when will you finish all these minerals that are available? I submit, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable, Senior Honorable, for that matter, and for your accolades and your wishes. We are grateful. Honorable Mwamba, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the controlling officer has advised that Appendix 6 is where we'll see evidence of the penalization of the 2 defaulting companies. Now, looking at Appendix 6, it's a newspaper cutting. So how does the newspaper cutting translate into evidence of the 2 penalized companies? Please, could you clarify that? Thank you.
Thank you. PS, we can proceed with those two questions. The one for each committee on a certain mineral, and the one from Honorable Mwamba. Thank you.
Chair, coming from the Honorable Ricardo's comments, if we are to pass the same statement of congratulations to the two, we shall be really compromised, and and therefore option one is to simply ignore as if we haven't heard anything. And we shall say it outside and congratulate them outside the floor of this committee. I need to make a small clarification. The committee we are talking about is not to sit. It is an ad hoc committee to review the value chain of this particular mineral that has been a bit obscure over a period of time. So the purpose of that is they will make recommendations as to how this mineral can be of greater value as at now. Once they have finished their work as an ad hoc committee, its life ends. The same for gemstone, because of which their peculiarities. Then we're talking about the overall value chain now for the artisanal, small scale mining subsector. Overall. These are subcommittees just meant to inform the permanent secretary as controlling officer so that he makes decisions based on information that is being provided. And I believe with the information we should be able to make better decisions. That is a comment or my reaction that I can make to that question. The second question, yes, we are talking about a newspaper cutting. That newspaper cutting is merely an indication of a process of saying we intend to cancel these licenses. But the first thing is we have notified the respective companies. And from this notification, we shall formally write default letters which have already been written. Maybe that's the evidence that you may have wanted. Okay. But for us, by giving the newspaper cutting, indicating that we have notified these companies, we felt it may not be sufficient, but we thought it was adequate that we have identified these companies that they are not compliant, and we have started the process to default them as indicated in our submission. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, honorable colleagues. And PS, that was the last item on your submission. However, PS, we do thank you most sincerely for coming before this honorable committee to make your submission and also answer to the queries emanating from the Office of the Auditor General's report. PS, there are a lot of sensitive issues emanating from your ministry which have been queried by the Office of the Auditor General, and which we implore you that as the controlling officer in charge of that ministry, with your technocrats, some of these things can be looked at and ensure that we make corrective actions or mitigation measures to that effect so that we can extinguish some of these vices. The issues of outstanding area charges, which are emanating from, if not mistaken, 2012, and I think we're laboring to look at how does it take 3 years. You did run us through your processes under the Minerals Act. I think that was Section 72, if I'm not mistaken, which was cited by your acting director of Cadastre, to highlight the processes, issues of 30, 60 days on how some of those issues can be mitigated. I think we appeal to you that that should be enforced without delay to ensure that we have sanity in this sector. There's the issue of unlicensed and illegal mining by small-scale miners. I think we cannot emphasize this issue. we've got a sensitive issue going through in the country of the incident which happened in Chingola, and it's important and upon you as a ministry to ensure that we have a robust system to ensure that our small-scale miners are fully licensed, and also there's not only sensitization but training in mining safety regulations, and also you need to find a win-win situation with them to make sure that you sensitize them and tell them the benefits of carrying out safety mining and also safety mining procedures to that effect. It's not a small task, but I think we can start from somewhere, being them the ministry with that responsibility to ensure that there's sanity in the mining sector. I think it's important that we look at that. We are appealing to you as a ministry because that affects all of us, and that is the only way we can bring sanity from such activities. Then also loss of revenue, expired exploration, mineral processing orders, all those issues. Let's find ways to mitigate. And also, I think your director ICT mentioned how, if not now this week, because last week you submitted that the cadastre should be running that online platform to ensure that also is connected through Smart Zambia in terms of revenue collection. So all those issues of cutting the human element in some of these processes will bring sanity, and we hope and pray that that can be rolled out in the quickest possible time, as your ministry did submit to us before this honorable committee. And then submission of production returns. This is very important because I think that's why you're coming up with a MRC, Mineral Resource Committee or Commission, I think Commission, to ensure that we can look at the mineral analysis, even as some of these big mines and other small minings are doing they're exporting these minerals. We're able to ascertain the contents. If there's cobalt, gold in some of those slugs, we're able to know and charge them effectively so that we can collect the much needed revenue to that effect. So we do appreciate, and we want to ensure that that commission is quickly starts its operation to that effect, because extractive industry, nations have lost a lot of revenue. Zambia not spared, issues of transfer pricing and all that. All avenues in which we've lost a lot of revenue as a country. So we implore you that some of these issues can be quickly expedited to ensure that they start running. And as lawmakers, we are there to ensure that some of these things which needs Parliament ratification or approval are supported, because as we are going through those committees, we understand where you are sitting as a ministry, and we're able to support you to ensure that we enhance revenue collection through this mining industry. Also, I think one of the most also important issues, I think, which also this committee were emphasizing on, is adherence and also pushing to ensure that mining regulations are adhered to by all people who are involved in this sector, so that we can have a safe operations in this sector to that effect. Yes, you cannot be 100%, but we should strive to ensure that some of these issues are mitigated to that effect moving forward. PS, with that said, I want to thank you most sincerely, together with your team, for coming before this honorable committee. Our role is not to embarrass anybody, but our role is to foster accountability and oversight to the executive to ensure that there is service delivery and also there is adherence to regulations, laws, and all that, which we culminate into service delivery to the Zambian people. So I thank you most sincerely. And let me take this opportunity now to lift the immunity which was conferred before you, that PS is lifted now. As we go outside, you can do your congratulations and your birthday presents, and the other things can come. I thank you and have a good afternoon.
kujanika chanso Aishiwa mumbali ishilo Wano yuta tontong kanyanga mwevo Ifiri mama yo Efianchi tafino Ifiri manebo Efianchi tafino Ifiri mama yo Efianchi tafino Ifiri manebo Efianchi tafino
Then I have one ruling. This is a ruling on a point of order raised on Friday, 8th December 2023 by Mr. Ara Mutale, Member of Parliament for Chitambo Constituency, against Her Honor the Vice President, Mrs. W.G. Mutale Nalmango MP, for alleging that the members of the Patriotic Front were criminals without substantiating her allegations. Honorable members, the House will recall that on Friday, 8th December 2023, when the House was considering the statement delivered by Her Honor, the Vice President, Mrs. W.C. Mutalena Almango MP, on the recent mining accident in Chingola, and Mr. J. Chibuye, Member of Parliament for Ron Constituency, was on the floor. Mr. Ara Mutale, Member of Parliament for Chitambo Constituency, raised a point of order. The point of order was based on Standing Order 65-1B of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2021, which requires a member debating to ensure the information he or she provides to the House is factual and verifiable. In his point of order, Mr. Aram Mutale MP stated that when responding to a question posed by Mr. M. Kafwaya, Member of Parliament for Lunte constituency, Her Honor the Vice President mentioned that there were criminals seated where Mr. Kafwaya MP was seated. He therefore inquired whether Her Honor the Vice President was in order to accuse the members of the Patriotic Front PF party of being criminals without verifying the matter. Her honorable members, in her immediate response, the Honorable Madam First Deputy Speaker reserved her ruling in order to study the matter. I have studied the matter and will now render my ruling. Honorable members, I've had on numerous occasions guided the House in various rulings that in order for a point of order to be admissible, it must be raised contemporaneously. That is to say, it must be raised soon after the alleged breach of procedure occurs. In this regard, Standing Order 132.1a of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2021 is instructive on admissibility of points of order and states as follows, and I quote, 132.1, a point of order is admissible if A, it is raised immediately after the alleged breach occurs, end of quote. Honorable members, a review of the verbatim record of the proceedings on the material day reveals that the alleged breach occurred during Her Honor the Vice President's question time. Thereafter, Her Honor the Vice President rendered a statement on the Senseli mine accident. It was after the statement and Mr. Chibuye MP was on the floor that Mr. Aram Mutale MP raised his point of order. Honorable members, although the point of order could be raised during, Honorable members, although the point of order could not be raised during Her Honor the Vice President's question time, as provided under Standing Order 132.2b, Mr. Aram Mutale MP ought to have raised the point of order immediately after the Vice President's question time. However, he raised the point of order long after Her Honor the Vice President had delivered a statement on the mining accident in Chingola. In view of the foregoing, the point of order is inadmissible. I thank you. Let's make progress. I notice there's a matter of urgent public importance. One matter, Honorable Member for Chairman North, South. What's the matter that you want to raise?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I can hear the Minister of Tourism.